about to say the man stole his swag. No.
Hey, Jill, how you say he do it?
Hold on. Let me wind it out. Let me wind it out.
Hey, Bob, I get on the nigga.
Hold on.
I got a ball hard, you can call me the shot. And what? Square earrings in my ears, but we.
You gotta be hard, man.
If there's one name that always seems to stir up controversies in the hip-hop world, it's Young Thug. Whether it's his bold fashion choices,
I had to prove a couple of points. So now it's to the point where it's like, okay, this can wear 20 dresses. He got to stick under the dress.
his unique sound,
In the morning, then I got in it with the storming. Bunny and Clyde with my whole
or his non-stop feuds with other celebs.
See, you used to be a Crip, now you're a Blood. So I don't want no smoke with you. You got Bloods and Crips on your team. And you was a male stripper once before, so I don't want to fight you. I don't want no germs on you.
I don't know why Lil Wayne don't like you. Could you figure it out?
Maybe I think it's because he's just been with Birdman his whole life, and he's just so spoiled to the point where it's like he's really spoiled.
He's always in the mix, but before all the headlines, before all the rap beefs, and before the massive trial that had the whole industry talking.
The rapper and 28 other defendants charged in a 56-count indictment alleging street gang activity, including robbery and murder.
Now we're getting to the latest in the trial of rapper Young Thug. The 31-year-old is appearing in court today, where a judge will decide if his own rap lyrics can actually be used in a RICO case against him. Jeffrey Williams is up against 2 charges: conspiracy to violate the RICO Act and also participation in criminal street gang activity. He faces life in prison.
Young Thug was just another kid from Atlanta trying to make his way up. So how deep did his struggles go? Let's dive in. Young Thug, born Jeffrey Lamar Williams on August 16, 1991, in Atlanta, Georgia, grew up in the rough Section 8 housing of the SOUTHSIDE projects, a location known for its adverse level of poverty. He was the second youngest of 10 siblings.
My mom had 11 kids.
Where do you fall at in 11?
I'm in the end.
Damn.
11 kids in Georgia. Like, how tough was your upbringing?
Man, you know, it was tough. It was. My mom had 11 kids out of her womb, you know, so it's like the most we stayed in projects.
That's a whole lot of mouths for his mom, Big Duck, to feed, especially with 4 or 5 different baby daddies in the mix. His dad, Big Jeff, was a gambler and hustler, and with the family trying to make it in one of the city's toughest areas, they all stuck together through the struggles. Later on, his mom would be diagnosed of having an enlarged heart, which is also known as cardiomegaly. His dad, though, was out there chasing money in the most unbecoming way. Sometime in 2000, things took a dark turn. Young Thug lost one of his older brothers to gun violence right outside their home over a gambling dispute.
His mom called, your son up here gambling. She sent my big brother to go get him.
Yeah.
My big brother go up there, you know, slap him around, make him go home. He started gambling right there. He ended up winning all the money. He leave. One of his friends called him. Man, don't come back up here. They said they gonna rob you and take the money back. So you know he a man, so he went right back up there.
Yeah.
And it happened.
But that just was not the end of his tragedy. Sometime later, another of his brothers would end up in prison for murder. And with all this chaos around him, school just wasn't on his radar. Instead, he spent his days either fighting or just hanging around aimlessly. Now, if you've ever seen Young Thug, you know he's built like a rope, 6'3", tall with a 27-inch waist. Dude barely ate real meals, probably a habit from growing up with little food, so his diet basically consisted of gummy worms and Funyuns. And honestly, to this day, he still pretty much eats like that, just with some added extras: lean, Xanax weed, and occasionally Molly. By middle school, he realized that women's clothing fit his ultra-thin frame way better than men's, and since he was already obsessed with fashion, he wanted to dress like a rock star. But his dad wasn't about to drop cash on skinny jeans, so Jeff took matters into his own hands, robbing and gambling to make his own money. One day, he'd hit a lick and walk away with $5,000 from a nail salon, and the next, he'd lose it all on a dice game. He was addicted to the high-stakes lifestyle, but hey, at least he got the clothes he wanted. Of course, rocking tight jeans and a different style in the halls meant he got clowned. But if there's one thing about Young Thug, it's that he never cared what people thought. That same rebellious streak got him into some serious trouble. In middle school, he snapped on a teacher so bad he broke their arm, and he ended up in juvenile for 4 years because of it. Since he'd already been kicked out of school, he spent his days in a correctional facility from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and while there's no footage of what it was like, we can probably assume it was nothing close to benign. But when he got out, he went right back to gambling, smoking, and, well, other extracurricular activities.
I had a gambling problem.
Yeah. So you touch on that.
I think I literally dropped out of school because of gambling. I just missed so many days. I might be in the gambling house all night.
By 17, he was already a dad, but he did not leave juvenile without some sort of discovery. He had a gift for rapping, and that kind of ushered him into the rapping scene. Once he got the rhythm and flow down, he wasted no time getting in the studio. In 2010, Young Thug made his first appearance on a track called She Can Go by True Royal, where you could already hear that heavy Lil Wayne influence in his voice. Then, between 2011 and 2012, he dropped his I Came From Nothing mixtape series, which caught the attention of none other than Gucci Mane. Gucci was impressed and signed him to 1017 Brick Squad Records, setting Young Thug on the path to stardom.
I don't know honestly how he got on to me, because I've been rapping. I always was kind of like, I always had a buzz in Atlanta. But I don't understand how, I don't know how he got onto me. I just know I got a call one day.
Under the label, he dropped the 1017 Thug mixtape in 2013, which got real love from music critics. Pitchfork gave it honorable mentions for Album of the Year, and Complex ranked it number 36 on their top 50 albums list. Then came the moment things really started taking off, October 2013, when he dropped Stoner. The song was everywhere, with unofficial remixes from Jim Jones, Walla, Jadakiss, Iamsu, Trick Trick, and more. Funny thing, Young Thug actually hated all the remixes, and wasn't shy about saying so. In the next month though, he would drop Metro Boomin', then went on and dropped the music video for the track Some More. And that was actually the first time we ever heard the legendary Metro Boomin' Want Some More tag, the one he'd use all the time after that.
Metro Boomin' want some more.
Pretty iconic, right? It was also the first track Young Thug worked on with Alex Toomey, who basically became his go-to engineer for everything from that point until Slime Season 2. Fast forward to January 18th, 2014, Young Thug revealed he'd been offered an $8.5 million contract to sign with Future's Free Band's label. Then in March of that same year, his ties to Cash Money Records and Birdman had the media in a frenzy. Was he signed to them or not? But turns out that was all cap. The label's publicist cleared it up, and then Ronald Caveman Rosario from 1017 Distribution confirmed that Young Thug was actually just in a management deal with Birdman's Rich Gang, not a record deal. He was still signed to 1017 Brick Squad, 2014. This was the year Young Thug really blew up. He landed on the Fader cover early in the year, and by March 24th, he announced his debut album would be called Carter 6, as a nod to Lil Wayne's legendary Thaw Carter series. If you know anything about Young Thug, you know Lil Wayne was his biggest influence. He never stopped talking about how much he looked up to him.
Wayne songs, all hot boys. Wayne was my favorite artist. I really didn't listen to nobody music but Wayne. My dad wasn't even going for it. I had to sneak and listen to Lil Wayne. I had to sneak and listen to music.
Sneak and listen to Lil Wayne.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just 2 days later, news broke that Young Thug was working on a collab album with Metro Boomin called Metro Thuggin', which was supposed to drop in the spring of 2014. The lead single, The Blanguage, was straight heat, easily a top 10 Young Thug track.
So baby, you need you a pound. Almost slimy mother.
Then in June it was official. Young Thug signed to Kevin Liles and Liar Cohen's label 300 Entertainment. And here's a random but funny fact. You know the song Danny Glover? Well, Asylum Records and Atlantic Records actually changed the name to 2B Words, which was what it was originally called anyway. Before we take it any further, we have to talk about Rich Homie QUAN, because you can't mention Young Thug's rise without mentioning him.
He's different, bro. He's him. He's him. You know what I mean? That's my brother. He's him, bro. Everyone knows he's different, bro.
They had teamed up previously in 2013, and fans were already waiting for some hits. But the collaboration of them that everyone was waiting for, it actually never officially dropped. But about a year later, a bunch of their leaked songs flooded the internet under Young Rich Homie Thuggin'. Now, fast forward to 2014. They went on to release a track titled Lifestyle, and when they dropped it, the streets went crazy, and everybody wanted a full project from them. And in September of that same year, they delivered with Rich Gang, The Tour Part 1, which got a ton of love from critics and fans alike. But with fame comes controversy. People would not stop talking about Young Thug's fashion and the way he carried himself. It was all over the internet. Young Thug is gay comments everywhere, and yeah, he definitely had people wondering. He called his friends things like hubby, sexy, and my love, and he was rocking some bold outfit choices. People ran with it.
Anybody who knows me or knows QUAN, or knows Jeff, or knows Thug, knows like, you wouldn't say it in their one-eye faces. Point blank period.
But honestly, these days, no one really brings it up like that anymore. At the end of the day, Young Thug never cared what anyone thought, and that's part of why he blew up the way he did. In 2015, Young Thug was hitting it. Right from 2014 to 2017, he was unstoppable. Around the time Slime Season 2 came out, an unreleased track leaked, and his vocals, ad-libs, and flow were just on another level, leaving fans mesmerized. Young Thug's debut album was supposed to drop the year before, and he planned to call it Carter 6 as a tribute to Lil Wayne's Thaw Carter 5. But Wayne wasn't a bit feeling that. At a show in April, he straight up told the crowd to stop listening to Young Thug.
I want y'all to do me a favor and stop listening to songs that post naked on their mother album. Whoever it is in this mother, y'all let them know I said.
After some legal threats started flying around, Young Thug decided to switch it up. He renamed the project Barter 6 and clarified that it would be a mixtape instead of his debut album. And oh yeah, let's not forget, this was also the year Young Thug got into a heated beef with the game. It wasn't really relevant to his music career, but if you were around during that time, you definitely remember the drama.
See, you used to be a Crip, now you're a Blood. So I don't want no smoke with you. You got Bloods and Crips on your team. And you was a male stripper once before, so I don't want to fight you. I don't want no germs from you.
I just seen your little video, you hoe. You paint your nails like a f***ing girl. You call your bae, and you a hoe ass. Keep f***ing around, gonna drive by that nail shop and light that up.
Then, on April 18th, 2015, Young Thug would announce that his debut album would be called High Tunes, which would be delayed for quite a very long time. In May of that year, though, after all the confusion about who he was actually signed to, since at different times he was linked to Gucci Mane's 1017 Records, Future's Free Bands, Liar Cohen's 300 Entertainment, and Birdman's Rich Gang, Young Thug finally cleared things up. In his own words, "I manage myself. I'm signed with Atlantic. I have a big special deal with Atlantic, and it's only Atlantic. Birdman is my homie." He also mentioned that before the album, he was dropping another mixtape called Carter 5. He was still going with that name, even after all the drama with Lil Wayne. Now, 2015 was also the year a ton of Young Thug songs got leaked. There was a lot of speculation about why it happened. Some people claimed Birdman wasn't paying the engineers or producers, so somebody got fed up and leaked everything out of spite. Others said whoever had the files was trading all these songs for some Drake leaks and ended up getting finessed. And apparently these leaks were one of the reasons High Tunes never dropped in the first place. But in the end, things kinda worked out. A lot of the leaked tracks ended up forming Young Thug's Slime Season mixtape series, Slime Season 1, 2, and 3, which are still considered some of his best work. Funny enough, Barter 6 didn't get leaked, and man, that project was a classic. Tracks like With That, Check Halftime Numbers, and Just Might Be, straight fire. In June 2015, Young Thug revealed that he and Kanye West had actually talked about doing a joint album together. They had a meeting during Travis Scott's rodeo tour in the spring, and according to Young Thug, Kanye was blown away by his unreleased music.
He just like, come on, listen to these songs. I might put these out. I might, he let you just, he opens up fast.
Are you guys gonna do a collaborative project, you and Kanye? It's time right now, man. Did y'all discuss that?
He made me sign some kind of papers, but yeah, me and him definitely got something going on.
Y'all got something going on?
Of course.
Okay.
A lot of things going on.
A lot of things going on.
Thug even said, "He told me I was like Bob Marley and that he wanted to do an album with me. I was like, let's roll." Then in July, 300 Entertainment dropped a promotional single, Pacifier, to hype up High Tunes. The track, produced by Mike Will Made It, had Young Thug experimenting with all kinds of wild vocal scatting, and critics actually thought it was interesting. But since High Tunes never came out, the song kinda just floated around with nowhere to go. Fast forward to February 4th, 2016, Young Thug dropped the mixtape I'm Up, but everyone thought it was going to be Slime Season 3. Then, just a month later, he actually released Slime Season 3. The rollout was all over the place, but at least fans got the music. In May of that year, Young Thug even went on a full US tour. And get this, it was for High Tunes. The album that never dropped had its own tour, but that didn't stop it from being a wild time at the Times Square show. He brought out artists like Day Day, Rich the Kid, and Lil Yachty. Then came one of Young Thug's most random moments. During a Beats One interview, he announced he was changing his name to Jeffrey. "My name is Jeff now," he said. "I'm Jeffrey for one effing week. If I don't sell 100K copies, I'm going back to Young Thug." Spoiler, he didn't come close to 100K. Despite Jeffrey debuting at number 8 on the Billboard 200, it only sold 37K copies in the first week.
Bet it up, bet it up.
It was always kinda weird how someone as huge as Young Thug, with crazy hype and millions of views on YouTube, never really pulled big album sales. Maybe his fans just weren't into buying music. They just streamed everything. Who knows, but one thing's for sure, people will never forget that album cover. The memes were everywhere, and despite the low sales, the critics loved it. Each track on Jeffrey was actually named after one of Young Thug's idols: Gucci Mane, Rihanna, Future, even Harambe, which is pretty hilarious when you think about it. In November of that year, Young Thug announced he was launching his own record label, YSL Records. Around the same time, he also showed up on Drake's More Life album on Sacrifices and Ice Melts.
You're diving at the rub for some song. You need to give it up to someone. You need to give love to someone.
Then in April 2017, Young Thug revealed his next project, Beautiful Thugger Girls. Originally titled Easy Breezy Beautiful Thugger Girls, he called it a singing album, and it had a mix of R&B, dancehall, and even some country influences. Some people call it an album, some call it a commercial mixtape. The whole mixtape versus album thing in the streaming era is just confusing at this point, but what's funny? Beautiful Thugger Girls debuted at number 8 on the Billboard 200, just like Jeffrey, and sold the exact same amount. 37K copies in the first week. That same year, at the UK Music Video Awards, Young Thug cleaned up, winning 3 awards for Wyclef Jean, Video of the Year, Best Urban Video, and Best Editing in a Video. Then in October, he dropped Super Slimy, a collab mixtape with Future. But the reception was kinda not soothing. 2018 was a quieter year, but he still put out a little something. He dropped the Hear No Evil EP, which was decent, the Slime Language collab tape with his YSL crew, and On the Run, which was super underrated, especially that track with Jaden Smith. And let's not forget Havana, that song won so many awards. Then 2019 came, and the London dropped. Believe it or not, it was actually the lead single for his debut album, which, yeah, sounds insane considering how long he had been in the game. Originally, the album was going to be called Gold Moof Dog, but it was later renamed to what we now know as So Much Fun. And honestly, in terms of influence, you already know. Especially fashion-wise, Young Thug changed the game. He even went on Instagram Live back in 2018 saying, "I'm the drip god, I created the she, I made the way for young people to be themselves. I got crucified, they called me gay. They didn't call y'all gay, I made y'all tighten your jeans up, I'm the wave god, I'm the master, I'm the founder. I made it cool for y'all rappers to carry y'all D's in skinny jeans." He was one of the first rappers since Lil Wayne to bring back that punk-inspired style. Face piercings, the rockstar look, all of that. By 2020, he was still doing his thing, but let's be real, that year was a mess for everyone. No one could tour, everything was on hold. But he still managed to drop Slime and B, a collab tape with Chris Brown that came out of nowhere. At first, people were like, Thug and Breezy, huh? But turns out, it worked, and they even had a huge summer anthem on there.
Some loving skills, love my dirty draws and you love me still. Eyes come lazy, but she is real.
By 2021, Young Thug wasted no time dropping Slime Language 2, the sequel to his YSL Collective tape. It debuted at number 1 and sold 113,000 first week, which is solid for the streaming era. Then later that year, he dropped his next album, which debuted at number 1 with 90K copies sold. One of the lead singles, TikTok, never even made it on the final album, which was kinda weird. Just when it seemed like Young Thug and Gunna were at their peak, YSL was on top of the world, and everything was rolling, it all came crashing down. The feds had been watching them for years. We're talking since 2012, 2013, maybe even earlier, and when that RICO case hit, it was no joke.
The rapper and 28 other defendants charged in a 56-count indictment alleging street gang activity, including robbery and murder. And Channel 2's Michael Seiden.
They labeled Young Thug as the head honcho, the so-called kingpin, and even used his lyrics against him in court. It's crazy how you can have everything: the fame, the money, the influence, and it can all be taken away in a second. In 2022, while the free YSL movement was going crazy at festivals like Rolling Loud, Young Thug even called into Summer Jam from jail. Then in April, he posted on Instagram, "These past few weeks gave me so much to talk about. Y'all ready? As of now, Young Thug has been released but is serving 15 years of probation as part of a non-negotiated plea deal." And just like that, one of the most game-changing careers in hip-hop has taken a wild turn.